Hello, my name is Erinn Eddingfield, and I am the People's Warden, and I'm here to give a little video about the 2023 goals. Gonna just move my little thing here. There we go. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to do is just kind of talk about the yearly goal process. So, first of all, why do we do goals in the first place? So, the purpose of goals are to focus our energy and our attention on growing in faithfulness in just a few particular areas. Really narrowing our focus on how we're going to grow and what God is calling us to do. So the vestry starts a discernment process for goals months in advance. I believe we began in August, first with just brainstorming, praying, coming up with a few iterations. We'd talk about it, go back and rework them again. And we're really trying to follow God's plan with these goals. Now, one of the main things that we do is we try to hold up our proposed goals to see if it really aligns with our mission statement. The statement is, we desire to be a church family that forms disciples, lives generously, and shares God's love in our neighborhoods. So we want to make sure that any goal we have really fits with our mission statement. So just so you know, this video is really just an introduction to our 2023 goals. We have two of them. And we will become forthcoming with more support, information, and room for input to come. So this is just a nice preview. So goal number one, we wish to explain, equip, and encourage every member of the congregation to take up the spiritual practice of a daily examen. Now, you may or may not be familiar with the concept of the daily examen. I know I wasn't before we started to look into this. You may already do one, but the idea is to really, as a congregation, grow to incorporate this as a daily activity. So, I will explain the daily examen a little bit, but first, looking at how this fits our goals and our mission statement, this really fits in with our focus of forming disciples. Now, disciple and discipleship is obviously a very big term, and you could kind of fit multiple ideas with it. I'm going to pull a few statements from our church website just to kind of glean us towards what we're looking for here. So, first of all, the discipleship is really a process, and it is a process of growing to love God and our neighbor more deeply. And through discipleship, what we're doing is we're just being called to become aware of the work God is doing in our lives and then cooperate with Him, which is a process. Now, the definition of the daily examen, I got this from a website when I was doing some research, but it reads like this. The daily examen is a technique of prayerful reflection on the events of the day in order to detect God's presence and discern His direction for us. So you can see how this spiritual practice fits right in with our goal of forming disciples. So, as a vestry, our prayer, our hope for this spiritual practice of the examen is to really strengthen the formational practices of all the individuals in our church, to be more aware of God's gracious presence in our lives, and to hopefully see ourselves as God sees us in Christ and what His plan is for us. So, full explanations of the daily examen will be provided during the season of Epiphany. It will be modeled throughout the service itself in Lent, and then really encouraged throughout the entire year in the service, in small groups, in discipleship groups, in pretty much any way we can get at you. We're going to try to explain, equip, and encourage you through this daily practice. Now, there are many variations for this daily examen. And we hope to provide you with different resources and ideas and really support you in this practice. This link right here is a helpful link. It will be provided along with this video where you can read a little bit more about this and see kind of how we've adapted, or what we've, the material we adapted our take on it from. So that's goal number one. Now we're moving on to goal number two. Goal number two is about discerning our congregational strategy for corporate mission and outreach. So this focus is on that shares the love of God in our neighborhood section of the mission statement. So, what we're hoping is that the whole congregation will be working together to prayerfully discern how we as a church family can partner with other San Diego organizations to share the love of God and to be a sense of hope and love to our neighbors. So, past partnerships have included InterVarsity, which is a college campus ministry, San Diego Refugee Tutoring, and several other partners. So these are just some people that we have worked with to hopefully show God's love. Now, the reason, went a little fast there. The reason that we are taking up this goal is because we feel we're in a state of re-examining. We're trying to re-examine our call to mission, and the reason for that is because of a lot of changes. We have a new worship space from when we last really considered this. We have changing dynamics within our church and within our community and our city. There was obviously the COVID pandemic and what that's done and what needs that brings up. So we feel that we really need to spend some time really contemplating and discerning God's will for us and how we can share his love. Now, we're going to be trying to do this discernment through lots of different ways: rectors' forums, small group conversations, congregational discussions, surveys, all sorts of different ways. But the hope is that we take this entire year to really determine what is God's will. And then that way we can move on that will with a purpose in 2024. So taking the time and getting input from our congregation and really figuring this out. So that's it. Those are our two goals. So number one is about personal discipleship and growing closer to God. Goal number two is about, as a church, figuring out how we will kind of grow outwards and give in a missional sense. I hope this has made sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to a Vestry member, to any staff, or Father Brian, and we will hopefully get more information to you before you even know you need it. I hope this has been an informational video, and with that, have a wonderful day.